Okay, kids, headline for today: big meeting ends with a giant paper hat left on the table. Imagine that, a giant paper hat where a big important hat should be. I promise, by the time we're done, we'll run 3 tiny silly experiments with props you can find at home, and you'll understand one simple idea about news. Stories can be funny, and they can be explained with play. Ready to be little scientists? Let's go!
Quick safety and setup. Today's props are simple: a paper hat or a piece of paper, a toy car or any small rolling toy, and 2 magnets or 2 pieces of cardboard if you don't have magnets. No poking, no throwing, and always ask an adult if you need scissors. We're not debating grown-up ideas. We're using short experiments to explain a news idea. Sometimes a headline is the funny thing you see first, and the experiments help show what might be happening behind the laugh. Keep your questions curious, not mean, and take your time to try the ideas with an adult.
Experiment 1, the paper hat signal. Take your paper hat and place it on the table where everyone can see it. Now, and this is the dramatic part, pretend the hat is a message. If the hat is sitting in the middle of the table, everyone notices it right away. When you move the hat to one corner, only some people see it. That's the experiment. Where you place the hat changes who notices it and how they react. Joke 1. The hat voted for itself. It wanted more headspace. Joke 2. When the hat left the room, the table started a recruitment drive. The lesson: a headline is like that hat. If it's loud and in the center, lots of people spot it and talk about it. But where it sits and who's looking changes the story.
Many explain. Reporters pick details to make the headline pop, like putting the hat front and center. That helps people notice the story fast, but it might not tell you everything, like who made the hat or why it was there. So when you see a loud headline, think, who put the hat there, and what else might be on the table? Experiment 2, the toy car race. Place 2 toy cars at opposite ends of a smooth surface and give them a gentle push toward the middle. If both cars bump and stop, they block each other. Now add a tiny ramp or a piece of cardboard so one car goes around the other and keeps going. Sound effect in your head, vroom! Joke 1. The car that took the scenic route said, "I prefer commentary." Joke 2. The blocked car started a podcast to talk about being blocked. The point: the same story can look like a crash or a clever detour depending on how people move and where they go. Many explain. This is about perspective. One person might see a crash, and another sees a clever solution. In news, the same headline can be read differently depending on the angle or the part of the table you're watching from. So it's smart to look for more details, like the ramp, before deciding what actually happened.
Experiment 3, the magnet tug, or the push-away. If you have 2 magnets, hold them with the same poles facing each other and watch them push away. They refuse to join. Now flip one and they snap together. If you don't have magnets, imagine 2 kids playing tug of war who either pull apart or team up when the rope is shared. Joke 1. The magnets started a debating club but couldn't agree on lunch. Joke 2. They settled it by sticking to the facts and then sticking together. The big takeaway: sometimes groups push away from each other, and sometimes they come together. A headline can hint at either, but you may need to look closer to see which is true.
Now tie the 3 experiments together. The hat showed how attention works. The toy cars showed angle and movement, and the magnets showed whether people stick together or push apart. All 3 are tiny ways to think about one headline: who noticed it, how people reacted, and whether the reaction made people stick together or push away. That gives us a simple civic skill. When you hear a funny or strange headline, ask 2 small questions: who put the hat there, and what else is on the table?
Recap. Experiment 1, the paper hat, taught us about attention and what catches our eye. Experiment 2, the toy cars, reminded us to look for different angles before we pick a side. Experiment 3, the magnets, showed how people can push apart or come together, and that a headline might be only one part of a bigger picture. The one simple lesson, headlines are like tiny props in a story. They make you look, but a good question helps you see more than the prop. Be curious, not certain.
Before we finish, a tiny practice. Next time you see a headline, try the 3-step game. Spot the hat, watch the cars, test the magnets. Say your questions out loud. Who placed the hat? Did the cars have a ramp? Are the magnets facing the same way? It's fast, it's fun, and it makes you a smarter news explorer.
All right, experiment lab coats off. Time for the last joke. Why did the paper hat refuse to leave the table? Because it had a seat reservation. Thanks for experimenting with me. Tune in tomorrow for another tiny lab, and one new headline will turn into play.
Short and sweet. That was brilliant. Keep asking questions, keep playing with ideas, and bring an adult when you try the experiments. See you tomorrow for another silly science headline. Bye for now, and maybe wear a paper hat on the walk home.